Let's watch Candace Owens make a complete fool out of herself. She refuses to look at or acknowledge all the evidence in Andrew and Tristan Tate's case. And the only reason why she's doing that is because her husband has been friends with the Tates since he was a young man. Let's jump into the video and we'll go from there.
All right. So this was not what we had planned for this evening. Obviously, we were going live tonight because we were going to cover Trump speaking, and we'll still get there, obviously, whatever he presents in front of the joint Congress. But then some news broke on X that Florida, and I thought it was a joke. I thought I was being pranked, that Florida has decided to move to criminally investigate Andrew Tate. Now, Andrew Tate is joining us, and I just want to at first give you guys the background here because it's egregious what happened here. I don't care about your opinions about Andrew Tate. I don't care if you think he's a misogynist, if he's a sexist, if you think he's a racist. None of that actually matters, okay? Because you
know what does matter, Candace? That he's a human trafficker, pimp, and pedophile. And how do we know that? Because he's admitted it in his own tweets, his WhatsApp messages that have been intercepted by DICOT in the last 2 years, and all the other incriminating evidence that Andrew Tate has let slip from his own mouth, Candace. But that does matter.
Think about what would be the circumstance if Trump traveled to New York.
There we go.
Ends the presidency, travels to New York, his plan lands, and leftists just start freaking out. How, I don't want him back in this state. I don't want him here. This is ridiculous. And then the governor moves to host a press conference, which Ron DeSantis did in Florida, as soon as Tristan and Andrew Tate landed, and said, I'm going to have my attorney general look into him because we don't want him here. He's not welcome here. This is what Ron DeSantis did. He's not welcome here. What do you mean he's not welcome here? He's a U.S. citizen. He's a U.S. passport. He's welcome here. Okay, he hasn't been charged of any crimes overseas, irrespective of what you think about him. Of course, he's welcome here.
He hasn't been charged with any crimes overseas? What the hell are you talking about? Yes, he has. And 17 new charges have just been added to the case file. And guess what, Candace? 2 of the victims live in Florida in the ongoing case that Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate have been accused of threatening those witnesses. Those witnesses have made police reports. But if you actually did some research instead of just being in love with them, you would know this, Candace.
And so Ron DeSantis says that, and literally a couple of days later, the attorney general announces that, yes, in fact, and can we pull that tweet up, Skylar, if you got it? He tweets this tonight. He tweets, last week, so yes, literally at the moment that neocons started freaking out in the state of Florida, I directed my office to work with our law enforcement partners to conduct a preliminary inquiry into Andrew and Tristan Tate. Now you're going, is this Stalin tweeting this, Candace? Is this in America? Or are we in Russia right now? What's going on? Nope, let's keep reading. This is actually America. This happened in Florida.
Andrew and Tristan Tate have an open case for human trafficking, sexual assault, pimping, crypto scams, you name it, they're doing it, the Tates. And Ron DeSantis isn't sure if they're allowed to travel, which he isn't. And Candace is saying, this is Russia, this is Stalin. Like, she's just sickening at this point. The way that all Candace Owens' credibility is in the toilet bowl. It really is. Hey, Candace, so did you see the WhatsApp messages that DICOT has intercepted in the last 2 years of Andrew and Tristan Tate? Bragging about how they're going to pimp these you-know-whats and steal all their money and work them like slaves. Did you read those WhatsApp messages, Candace? Oh, let me guess, Candace. You don't care about those messages, right?
Then continues his tweet with, based on a thorough review of the evidence. Oh, it's only been a couple of days. They move quickly. I've directed the Office of Statewide Prosecution to execute search warrants and issue subpoenas in the now active criminal investigation into the Tate brothers. Show me the man and I will show you the crime, Attorney General James Uthmeyer. And then before we bring Andrew on, I also want to run the clip of what Ron DeSantis said, okay? Again, Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate have not been convicted of any crimes overseas. So I don't care about investigations that are ongoing or videos that you saw on X. They are returning home and they are responding to an outrage mob, okay? Ron DeSantis is being...
Yeah, she doesn't care about the Tates incriminating themselves in their own videos and words. I don't care about that. It doesn't matter. Candace, maybe Ron DeSantis was confused with all these open pending charges that the Tates were going to take off and flee Romania's jurisdiction. He has no idea that they're in the state of Florida. So he can't tell his AD, hey, I need you to check this out. No, that's Russian tactics. That's stolen. Well, then maybe your two piece of you-know-what friends shouldn't brag about human trafficking girls, having sex with 15-year-olds, and all the other garbage that they do.
Texted by a bunch of his neocon lieutenants, and this is what he had to say at his press conference.
Governor, there's some reporting out there that controversial podcaster and accused human trafficker Andrew Tate may be on his way to Florida. Is he welcome here? What could the state do to send him back to Romania or whatever?
Well, we have no involvement in that. I read about it through the media. Clearly, the federal government has jurisdiction whether they want to rebuff his entry into the United States, and I have confidence that whether it's Pam Bondi or Christino, they will be looking at that. I do know our Attorney General, James Boothmeyer, is looking at what state hooks and jurisdiction we may have to be able to deal with this. But the reality is no, Florida is not a place where you're welcome with that type of conduct in the air. And I don't know how it came to this. We were not involved. We were not notified. I found out from the media that this was something that was happening.
So there you have it, you guys. He just instantly said, we're going to go after him and we will make something happen. And they did it in a couple of days. Andrew, I want to bring you in right now to respond to this.
His face.
I'm shocked. I can't even imagine how you're feeling right now. You're probably finally thought after 3 years of Romania just essentially saying you're not allowed to leave your house, took them forever to even bring charges against you, that when you land on American soil, okay, great. At least I'm in a place where there will be due process and there won't be these sort
Here, another lie by Candace Owens. Hey, Candace, let me inform you about Romanian law, which has been on the books for like 100 years. In Romania, they arrest you off allegations, bring you to jail, whatever, and then proceed with the charges. That's been on the books for 100 years. They didn't make that special for your lover boys, the Tates. I know you're in love with them and have some type of secret crush or maybe some weirdo stuff going on between those two and your husband, but that law, the way they do things in Romania, has been there for 100 years. And what did Andrew Tate say in his own words? I'm moving to Romania because I'll be less likely to be prosecuted for sexual assault. So who does he got to blame, Candace?
sorts of witch hunts.
Yeah, I believed it was the land of the free and the home of the brave.
There we go.
And I was extremely disappointed when I landed. I'm not intimidated by these people because I don't even know what jurisdiction they believe they have. I think this is the second time I've been to Florida in my life. Before this, I was here for 3 days. So I don't know what they're intending, but I am extremely disappointed. I am genuinely disappointed that after flying to my home nation, the country I was born in, the country my father served for, the country I hold the passport of, they've decided, because of media spin and slurs, to instantly attack me. And very correctly, as you pointed out, this is not a matter of trying to solve a crime. They can't even identify a crime. They're just trying to pin something on me because they don't like me. And what happened when I landed is that as I left the airport, my electronics were seized, which I'm assuming are the search warrants he's talking about. So my phones and laptops were already seized before I even saw the media. The second I landed, state police took all of my electronics, took everything, and told me there was an open investigation into me. I guess this is the search warrants he's talking about. So if you pull back up his tweet, it's very interesting. He says, based on preliminary investigations. Well, the preliminary investigations, there we go. Last week, I directed my office to work with our law enforcement partners to conduct a preliminary inquiry into Andrew and Tristan Tate. That's not true because you didn't even know I was coming to Florida. So that is a lie, sir. What you did is you found old YouTube videos I made, which I have debunked 1,500 times. But of course,
more like Ron DeSantis knows that 2 of the victims in an ongoing case live in Florida, and Andrew and Tristan Tate have been threatening them and having all their follows threatening them to drop the case because those are Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate's tactics, which they're well known for. But don't worry, Candace. Don't pay attention to any of this. Maybe when you have a daughter, you can let Andrew Tate babysit. What could possibly go wrong?
the enemy always ignores the debunk. and just continues to play them on repeat over and over, use them as an excuse to seize all of my electronics on landing. I'm now in Florida. They have all of my electronics, and I guess they're going through it, trying to find a crime. I'm very confident they won't, but we also know how ridiculous prosecutors can be.
Ooh, no.
So here I am expecting to be welcome in my host nation, and it turns out they're the Stasi. This is worse than Romania. This is communism in and of itself. I'm truly disgusted. And if I be honest, there's a lot of rumors flying around. I got a phone call from somebody very important who told me that the DeSantis crew are extremely worried that I was going to support Byron against his wife in the Floridian governor elections. I'm new to this. I don't know anything about Floridian politics. I didn't even know DeSantis and Trump didn't get along. I didn't know any of this. I'm just a man after 3 years who flew home, and everyone's
Wait, Tate always claims that he's a conservative. Why would Ron DeSantis, a conservative, be worried about Andrew Tate going against his wife in the run for governor? This is how delusional Andrew Tate is. He thinks like all these important people have this lowlife, pedophile, human trafficker, ex-drug dealer on the top of their minds. We have to stop Tate. He's going to rig the elections against conservatives.
telling me that you're a political pawn and you can motivate and activate the masculine youth and you're going to get them all to vote against his wife. And that's why they're trying to take you out politically because Trump supported the guy against his wife.
I can't stand this.
This is brand new to me. So I'm just in the middle of this being told that I'm the one who's going to be deciding the next governor of Florida with no idea.
Now Tate claims the reason why they're doing this is because they're worried. Ron DeSantis is worried that Tate is going to decide who is the next governor of Florida. But they didn't know you were coming, Andrew. Didn't you just say? That's a lie. They didn't even know I was coming. Oh, you can't have it both ways, Andrew. This is how I just can't stand him. And Candace Owens is so pathetic sitting there listening to this garbage. Tate claims Florida doesn't want him there because Tate will influence all of Florida's elections. Right. Okay.
What's even going on? It's truly, truly incredible.
It is incredible. And it's interesting that you say that because I never supported DeSantis for president. I just saw right through him. It was very obvious to me that he was not his own man, which is to say that he moves according to what his donors want. And because every single person that I don't respect, meaning the neocons who have never supported Trump, got behind DeSantis and were passionate about him or fighting for him, made me go, you know what? That's a man that I can't trust. You know, I don't know who's running that campaign or who's running his ideas, but it's not Ron DeSantis, okay? Yeah. And so what I think happened was as soon as you...
Wait a minute. One of the best run states in the entire country and all his policies, Ron DeSantis policies that align exactly with Trump's, putting America and Americans first, somehow he's being run by special interest groups, Candace? Really, Candace? Idiot. You're just an idiot, Candace.
Landed... because we saw it happening live on X. I mean, neocons were saying crazy stuff. They were saying deport him. I'm like, what do you mean deport? We didn't even deport Jeffrey Epstein. And he got convicted of crimes. By the way, I should mention in Florida, when he just got house arrest for actually crimes against minors, that all happened in the state of Florida. And I have never seen that same group of neocons radically speaking about Jeffrey Epstein. Nothing. They're silent about all of those matters, but they freak out about you. I saw it happening live. And then now you're telling me that as soon as you landed in the state of Florida as an American citizen, the state rolled up and seized your electronics. Under what pretext? What did they say to you?
Well, exactly right. It's kind of it's very, very interesting. They fear me so heavily.
Oh, yeah.
They talk about me like I am the devil incarnate. Right. And I've never been convicted of any crime anywhere on the planet ever. They fear me because of my political power. They fear me because I can galvanize the masculine youth in any direction that I believe fit. And I serve our commander-in-chief. I believe in all of the prepositions of Donald Trump. If Donald Trump believes Byron is going to be a better governor of Florida than DeSantis' wife, I'm likely going to agree with him. And I guess that's why they decided to attack me. When I landed, the customs officers sat there and said, we have to go through all of your phones and all of your laptops. And I said, why? And they said, we've been instructed from the absolute top level to search every single thing about your life. And I said, well, I don't see a warrant. This is very interesting. They said, if you don't tell us the passwords, we're going to seize them. I said, well, you're welcome to seize them, sir. I don't talk to police. I don't tell passwords. Go break it with your little software. Go bust in.
Insane.
And from that second, the criminal investigation was open before I even landed on Floridian soil. So it turns out, if from what I understand, I'm caught in some power struggle for Floridian politics. They fear me for some reason, and they're going to pretend I'm the worst person in the world. And any of these people on Twitter who want to come and attack me over some video I made 10 years ago, they need to wake up. The people who are in charge of this country are stealing your money.
First of all, the videos that he made aren't from 10 years ago. He admits to these things that he's done: human trafficking, stealing men's money, doing crypto scams, all in the last 3 to 4 years. And another thing, Tate always claims, they took 3 years of my life to bring me to court. Your lawyer delayed the case, your own lawyer, for about 2.5 years. So you have nobody but yourself to blame for the case taking so long to be prosecuted and getting it over with. But that's another detail that Tate will conveniently leave out of all his lies and garbage. And 2 of the victims in Tate's ongoing case live in Florida. You don't think? Unlike Romania, who refuses to prosecute Tate for threats, you know why they can't prosecute him in Romania? Because the victims are in another country and he's threatening them. Now that Tate is in the same state with those victims, if Ron DeSantis has his people go through those text messages and everything else and sees that they're threatening the victims, they're going to be arrested. But that would mean you'd have to take the blinders off, Candace.
They're sending it to foreign wars. They're blowing little children to pieces.
Oh, here we go.
They're the ones going
The
to
big
Epstein
savior of
Island,
the world.
and they divert all of the negative attention for their heinous acts towards me, and you believe it. They say I'm the bad guy so often that you believe I'm the bad guy, not the people who are stealing your money and blowing people to pieces in foreign wars. I've never been convicted.
The people that are stealing your money, the guy, Andrew Tate, who is doing crypto scams to pay all his lawyer bills, stealing young people's money, the real world, nothing but a scam to get your money. This guy's the biggest piece of you-know-what on the planet. Piece of garbage.
Of any crime in my life. You can walk down to the mall and walk around the mall, and you'll walk amongst people who have been convicted of crimes. I've been investigated for 5 solid years by 4 different agencies and never convicted. I'm one of the most innocent people on the planet. And here I land in my host nation and they start again. It's truly, truly saddening. And I know that this AG is just trying to make a name for himself and he thinks he's a smart ass, but in fact, I have a strong suspicion once they find out that my phones and laptops are empty and I haven't even been in Florida for more than 4 days in my life, that they're going to look pretty dumb when they have absolutely nothing to get me on. So then what happens, right? But I don't know how far and how crazy these people are. I don't know to what lengths they're going to make crap up to try and save themselves after this complete clown show. Why didn't they just investigate me in quiet? Let's pretend this is about law and order and they're truly concerned for the citizens of Florida. Then follow me around with secret police and investigate me in quiet. And if you find something, arrest me. Why the song? Why the dance? Why the press? Why the public? Why are you doing all of this if you're not trying to divert people away from the important things? The important things like all the actual crime and corruption that's happening. I had no interest at all in Floridian politics. I actually, truthfully, thought Ron DeSantis was a good governor. And that's why I gave him the benefit of the doubt and didn't even destroy him yesterday on Patrick Bet David. I was very kind to him. Yes, he failed a competency test. Yes, he failed. But I could have been far worse. I could have completely destroyed him and made a clown of him. But I actually thought maybe he's a pretty good governor. I don't know. I knew he was good under COVID. I thought he was a pretty good guy. As far as I knew Ron DeSantis before I flew here, he was a good guy. Turns out I was absolutely and utterly wrong.
You know, a couple of things frustrate me about this. The first thing is the amount of people that are weighing in on your Romanian case who have never read, they have no idea what the case is about. And the first way that you know that they don't know what it's about.
Really, Candace? Have you read the actual evidence? Have you read the WhatsApp messages? Because if you read the WhatsApp messages, and let's not forget about the jail phone calls where Tate is instructing the girls to make videos and cry to make it seem like he's innocent. We could pay off politicians. Let's not get it. Ask him the tough questions, Candace. Ask him about the WhatsApp messages intercepted by Dicot. Ask him about the jail phone calls, Candace. Of course you won't. Oh, I don't want to hear about the videos he made 10 years ago. It doesn't matter. First of all, they weren't made 10 years ago. They were made probably about 4 years ago. The video on human trafficking, teaching men how to pimp. Then inside the real world, they were also teaching men how to pimp, how to manipulate girls, how to manipulate those girls to give them all their money, how to isolate girls from their family. It's a definition of human trafficking, sex trafficking. But Candace here, hey Candace, maybe you're going to be a madam someday. Maybe when your career ends, you know, in media, because now you're not a reputable source, you could be a madam. You could join Tate.
Out is because they keep showing videos of you from before the time that they're even referring to on the case. Like I actually took the time to read through that case, and I came out and I explained everything to everyone slowly with, you know, names, details, everything. And I said, here is why I do not think that this case is going to go through in Romania. I think I made a prediction years ago that it was going to get dismissed because of a lack of evidence. Okay. And I got hammered for that. Oh, Candace, look at this video of him here. Guys, I don't care about it. If I'm the person doing the Harvey Weinstein series, I don't care about anything but the actual evidence that is in the case. And I am telling you what I am looking at. And
so Candace doesn't care about Andrew and Tristan on video saying that they intentionally sleep with 15-year-old girls because they're virgins. You're a piece of, you know what, Candace? You're a piece of garbage. F you.
Not good. Then that happens. Then the courts agree with me years later, and they say there's not enough evidence, so we're going to send it back down. We're going to overturn this, and you're going to have to bring up new charges. We're still going to keep this open, whatever it is that they say. And there's no like, oh, okay, maybe there's something here that I'm missing. Maybe I should actually, if I'm this passionate about Andrew Tate and I hate him so much, maybe I should try to read and understand what it is they're prosecuting against in Romania. No, they don't want to do work. They want to pick a side, and they want pitchforks, and they want to go after people based on mob mentality. And the thing is, I believe in due process, and I am calling on people to understand that somebody landing who has not been convicted of a crime in their home country, who has the police swarm them and say, give us all of your technology because we're launching a
Do you know why this case is so difficult for the Romanian prosecutors to prosecute? Because almost every single one of the victims lives in a different country now. And that's one of the reasons why the Tate's lawyer kept delaying the case. None of the girls were Romanian born. The Tates were trying to recruit girls from Romania high schools and middle schools. All these girls made videos on it. Andrew Tate would send them a rose. Hi, Romanian girl. He even describes the way that he tries to approach young girls to get them to work on webcam because he's a piece of you-know-what. But this doesn't matter to Candace. Candace is now a madam.
Preliminary investigation because neocons are upset on the internet is problematic for all of us. Okay, it's problematic left and right for all of us.
It's scary for all Americans. And you made a fantastic point there. And I've kind of understood that the people who hate me, they need something to attack me with. They can't call me stupid, and they can't call me unsuccessful, and they can't call me anything other than massively influential. So they hate when I win my criminal cases. So instead of addressing that, they ignore it. I have beaten my cases. They keep repeating it. They know I've beaten my case. They keep saying I haven't. They keep pulling up little pieces of paper saying, oh, he beat the case. It was sent back, but technically it's still open. No, technically it has a file number, a dormant file number like every other closed case. Or when I address old videos and I explain where they come from and I explain the context or I explain why it appeared on the internet, they see the full explanation exonerating me. They ignore it. They ignore all the exonerations. They ignore all of my victories, and they continue to repeat over and over things that they know are not true because they have illogical, blind hatred and fear for my influence. It doesn't matter how many times I win in court. Doesn't matter how many times I bust case. Doesn't matter how many times I explain myself. Doesn't matter how many times they are wrong. They're going to continue to repeat this over and over. And then we have the AG of this once great state talking about how he's concerned for Floridians and nobody abuses girls in Florida. Oh, except Epstein, I guess. And let's talk about human trafficking. If you want to go down to a club in Miami and count how many girls have OnlyFans and OnlyFans managers, or if you want to talk about rape, let's go count the girls walking out of clubs, drunk out of their mind and high on Percocet, walking home with men they barely know in this state. You can walk around and see girls doing porn, having sex, running all over Florida, doing all these things. And I turn up here and what have I done since I've arrived? I did Patrick Bet David and sat on my laptop. That's all I've done. I did Patrick Bet David, I sat on my laptop and I had Taco Bell. And I've got a criminal investigation?
Yeah.
Where the It doesn't even make any sense.
And I also want to be clear, and I would like to express
Poor
this.
Tate.
Everyone in the conservative movement is a liar with this new, well, if you're this or you're that, and then you're not a conservative. I want to be very clear. I ran every conservative circle that you can think of. You name a conservative influencer. I have been at that dinner party. I have been in that conversation. I have been on that network, whether it is as a guest. Nobody had an issue with you, okay, despite your case going on, until you hopped on to Piers Morgan on October 9th and said that you were pro-Palestine and called it a genocide. I watched overnight.
Oh, yeah, sure,
They went
Candace.
from, okay, he's fine. You can talk to Andrew Tate. Everyone wanted to know Andrew Tate, figure out his platform, to a complete 180 and trying to say, well, it's not Christian. It's not this. He's a bad guy. And suddenly everybody wanted to look into Andrew Tate. I watched that happen live. Okay. So any person who would like to debate me on that, who is a neocon, who is pretending that they've held these perspectives about Andrew Tate forever since the investigations began, please, I invite you to have that conversation with me, because you're all lying, okay? Let's not dress this up as something that it isn't. This is about Andrew Tate saying something that you don't want him to say because he's too influential. If he took a Likud party position and he said, kill every last Palestinian, he would be governor of Florida.
Right.
It's very interesting because I felt it myself. When I
There
had
we
these
go.
accusations, everybody understood, well, they've done this to Donald Trump and they did it in New York and this is happening in Romania and it's all
Don't you love how Tate tries to keep, even Candace, the moron that she is, she's trying to compare Andrew Tate to Donald Trump. We all know what happened to Donald Trump and the reason why they were doing it. Andrew Tate goes on a podcast tour, when he's around young people. I stole these people's money. We're straight G's and we take people's money. I don't give a F. I drain them every penny dry. Girls are stupid. You need to put them on webcam, pimp them out, take their money. I don't like girls over 16 years old because I need girls that are virgins and haven't been touched. And then there's all this evidence behind what's coming out of Andrew and Tristan's own mouth to back it up, right? That they're doing illegal things. And now Andrew and Candace are comparing it what Democrats did to Donald Trump. You guys are both a effing joke. I don't like to curse because I like to get my point across without cursing. Andrew Tate is a piece of shit, and so is his brother Tristan.
all very old and the judicial system there can't be trusted. And they haven't even, in fact, managed to have an election because it's so corrupt. And this doesn't really make sense. And why did they attack him when he got big online? Everyone was on my side until that exact day. And after that day, they all instantly turned on me. The second I said we shouldn't be blowing children to pieces, the second I criticized Israel, that was the day where I lost all of the support from the conservative side. And they
was
all
that not me as well? Have we not seen this trend happening over and over and over again? Candace Owens was totally fine. She was never considered anti-Semitic and Adolf Hitler. All of a sudden, she speaks up about a human right violation and says, too many Palestinian children are dying. And what happened to me overnight? They gave me anti-Semite of the year. Every friend. Oh my God, something's happened. This is happening too much. It's too obvious at this point. It's too obvious. It's not even casual. You assassinate, you go after, and you attack.
Well, Candace and Andrew, how come you never come out and condemn what the Palestinians did? And the Palestinian people voted Hamas into power. So maybe they share the same views. What did you think was going to happen when Hamas decided, well, we're going to kidnap, sexually assault, murder, light on fire, and do all types of things, disgusting, savage things to Israeli citizens? What did you think was going to happen? Prior to that, they had an economy, they had a food, they had shelter. Israelis didn't even really occupy the area. What did you think Netanyahu was going to do? You didn't think he was going to bomb them to pieces for their actions? Like, you're just showing your mental disorder. And you don't understand war whatsoever. This has been going on since the beginning of time. When they kill the men, they usually get rid of their sons. You know why? Because they don't want their sons to avenge the fathers. And you're just a casualty of war. And guess what? If your elders would have made better decisions and not have committed acts of atrocity, they wouldn't be in that situation. But that's too much thinking for mental cases like Candace and Andrew Tate, who are both full of shit, to figure out.
People. And the reason that I believe they're doing this to you is because they're losing. Okay. The neocon influence it's waning. Everybody can see that. They can see that in the numbers. Organizations that were big and used to have influence don't anymore. And so when people lose influence, they essentially go, I don't want to do the free markets anymore. I can't win in the free markets. Okay. So how do we just get rid of the competition? These people that purport to love the battle of ideas. Oh, it's about let the best idea win. They're the ones that call for censorship. They were the ones that were telling YouTube to censor my new platform, get rid of Candace, demonetize her, do all of these things. I've lived it, Andrew. And that is why I'm very aware of what's happening to you. And I'm sick of people trying to dress it up as something else. Even sicker is I'm trying to pretend that it's like we're doing it because of our Christianity. No, you can no longer win in the free markets of ideas. So you are going after every person who does not hold your personal perspectives about war because it's no longer favorable. Okay. It's no longer favorable left and right.
Completely right. And you know what? That's one more thing I want to say.
Oh, here we go.
I don't know all these people who keep saying that my case in Romania, they pretend they give a shit about it. How much blood am I supposed to give to a foreign, questionable judicial system when I've never even had a trial? They've had 3 years of my life. I've been to jail. I was locked in my house for 2 years. I haven't seen my children. I missed my grandmother's funeral. My mother had a heart attack. I was stuck in Romania with no money, no cars, no access to my passport or my cryptocurrency. All of it was taken away from me. And in the end, they say there's not enough evidence for a trial and they send it back to be dormant. And people are sitting there saying I should give them more than 3 years of respecting their judicial system and just sit there for the next 5 years having my life wasted by some prosecutor who's funded by George Soros anyway.
Oh, yeah.
What kind of clown world are we living in? These people hate me so viscerally. They throw all due process out the window. The people who hate me are going to sit here and pretend that what Florida is doing is a fine, perfectly normal thing. When we all know it is communistic and it is dystopian. This is the Stasi themselves. And it's amazing. I actually love that you said that yourself, Candace, because when I said that everything changed on October 9th after I criticized.
No, Andrew just loves anybody that agrees with him and hides his criminal behavior of him being a pedophile. That's who he loves. That's why he loves Candace now.
Israel's actions, I got called conspiracy theorist, but you felt it. You've seen it. If you have an opinion.
I was told it. You became persona non grata overnight. Literally overnight. It was just Andrew Tate now is this, and slowly everybody was pretending that they were invested in what was happening in Romania, but it had already been happening. It was already happening, and no one cared. And now all of a sudden they're making these strong statements. No one should speak to him. I mean, this is America. What do you mean no one should speak to him? I've been speaking to Harvey Weinstein for 2 years, as I believe he was wrongly convicted. He's a left-leaning, ADL supporting. It doesn't matter to me because this is not the way due process should work. Okay, yeah. And people should not be prosecuted because you don't like their ideas or you want something for them. We have to make sure we protect our judicial system. And so when I hear this, they took your technology as soon as you landed, what should be happening right now is left and right pressure should be put on Ron DeSantis and this attorney general to make a statement as to why that was done, under what grounds a preliminary investigation is done. I want to know what is the legal route to getting Ron DeSantis' text messages that day. I want to know who was texting Ron DeSantis. Is it a FOIA request? Who was emailing Ron DeSantis and texting him? I don't want your phone. I want his. Okay?
Yeah.
Your phone makes no sense to me. I want Ron DeSantis' phone. I want the Attorney General's phone. I want Utmeyer's phone. I want to know what donors texted you and told you to move because you were moving for donors and money and corruption, no different than a George Soros DA was doing. And I don't care if it's left or right. Wrong is wrong.
You nailed it. And you know what's interesting? This word, preliminary. You know, I went to jail preliminarily. You know, I was locked in my house preliminarily. You know, they stole all my money preliminarily. Then I fly to America, a supposedly free country. Let's remember, Romania was communist until 1989. I thought that was a communist nation. I fly to a free nation. Preliminarily, they steal my electronics to preliminarily try and nail a crime on me. My whole life has been preliminarily being destroyed, and no one's managed to come up with any kind of solid case against me ever. And it doesn't matter because I am being wrecked by the process. That's all they want to do. They want to endlessly process me and destroy my reputation, destroy my name, take my money away, and make it incapable. What they're trying to do is make it impossible for anybody to stand next to me because they know if I endorse somebody, I have power. So they want everybody afraid to affiliate their name with mine because of these stupid garbage charges that they keep preliminarily pulling out of their ass. They never have any evidence for anything. It's all preliminary. And it's truly, I'll be honest, Candace, if I was a slightly more sentimental man, part of me wants to cry because this is so ridiculous. This is so heartbreaking and so sad. For 4 solid years, every single day, I have protected my reputation. I protected my freedom. I've tried to financially provide for my family and protect my children for 4 solid years. And for the first time in 4 years, I finally had a genuine smile on my face. That private plane to Florida, I land to another preliminary investigation. Why?
Look at Candace.
Why?
She's the mother.
I don't think anybody. You want to find a criminal, there's plenty of them out there. They don't have a victim. They don't have a witness statement. They don't have anyone complaining about me. They don't have a medical record. They have nothing. They have me, who they don't like.
Oh, yeah.
That's
what
it.
it is.
And he said there's...
All right, I'm just going to leave it there. You know, I love seeing Andrew Tate play the victim. He's worried about his reputation, but he's on every podcast bragging about being a scammer, a drug dealer, a casino owner, associated with the mafia, scamming and draining lonely, stupid men's bank accounts dry, but he's worried about his reputation, right? And then let's not forget him going online, multiple podcasts in the last 2 or 3 years, saying how, the girl's right of age, 15 or 16. That's a 35-year-old man, 38-year-old man who likes to date 15-year-olds and 16-year-olds. That's what him and Tristan are into. Is absolutely disgusting. But Candace, she doesn't care about any of that. She doesn't see, it doesn't matter to Candace for whatever the reason. And another thing that Tate keeps harping on is the amount of time that the case is taken to go to court. His attorney keeps delaying the case on purpose. It's a strategic tactic because, again, all of the witnesses and victims live in other countries. So if they go back home, they don't want to travel to Romania to testify against Andrew Tate. And this whole idea that George Soros is behind Andrew Tate's prosecution because he's just so powerful, it's just a complete joke. Like Candace Owens, I don't even know how you could sit there with a straight face and listen to, oh yeah, George Soros is worried about Andrew Tate and his influence. You know who are the only people that know who Andrew Tate is? Your 13 to 18-year-olds who have nothing to do with politics whatsoever. Andrew Tate, the scammer, the crypto scammer, the human trafficker, the pimp, the pedophile, the con man, the drug dealer. How do I know all these things? Because this is what Andrew Tate has told us. Oh, you're taking the video out of context. I explain. You gave a whole class. You were selling a whole class instructing men how to isolate girls from their family, move them to another country, take away all their freedoms, have your madam escort them all over Romania, don't let them call home, your manipulation tactics. Of course, Candace Owens won't ask you about any of it. Candace Owens is a piece of garbage too.